What is up? Welcome into this Monday edition of Pushing the Pile, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. As always, Matt Ryan joins the show to scout some quarterbacks around the NFL. But before we scout some quarterbacks, Matt, we wanted to scout the NFL Today crew because you guys are up in Buffalo yesterday with Bills Mafia, jumping through some tables, as Bills Mafia does. So we wanted to go through and rate the best of the table breaks. J.J. Watts was, unfortunately, the worst.
Which is surprising. I think it was because he had his shades on, Matt. You mean he's wearing these shades up there. We're getting to the later months of the year. He's got shades on.
I don't think he understood how you need to break the table. You need to come at a vertical angle down at that crease in the middle. He tried to just run through it like it was a fullback in the hole. He thought that was just, you got to meet him head on. Yours, pretty good, but I don't think anyone came close to Nate's elevation there. What was it like seeing that live, him go through the center of that thing?
Dude, he was so high. I mean, it was unbelievable when you were watching in person. Like, I did not expect him to go up that way. It was crazy. It felt like he was hanging in the air for a long time. But let's give Coach Cowher some credit, man.
Huge credit.
Coach Cowher going for it. I mean, it might have been a little bit of a credit card vertical right there. He didn't get that high off the ground, but he went for it. And, when he went down, we were all there quickly, picking our coach up off the ground, man. That guy's – he's a bad man for doing it. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, that was awesome. And you know what? It was really cool to see you guys in the environment, on the road, with the fans. You could just tell that it was a different kind of energy. Obviously, I see you guys every weekend in studio, and it's always – you guys are fantastic. But there's just, that little bit of extra juice you get when you're on location, Matt. Did you get the itch to maybe, be around more games?
No, there's nothing like it, right? There's nothing like the environment around a stadium, game day, just kind of the excitement, particularly there, right? Fan base. And given that game, there was so much build-up for it. So it was incredible. The environment was awesome. We had a ton of fun. Shout out to Bills Mafia. They showed up. They were out there all day having a good time. And, really enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun.
Game lived up to the hype as well. Let's go elsewhere in New York, though, technically New Jersey, where the Giants just announced today, after their bye week, that they are benching Daniel Jones and giving the keys over to Tommy DeVito. Your initial reactions to that news?
I mean, not all that surprising, given kind of the injury guarantee portion of what they have. And moving forward, I think it's a decision organizationally that this is not the future. And so, they're going to protect that. I think Jonathan Jones was telling me, without the injury portion of it, that, it's basically $22 million on the cap for the next 2 years. I get it. I mean, Daniel Jones, his play has not been great. And I think given that roster, they needed somebody to kind of elevate the rest of the team and just wasn't able to do that. But, I mean, overall, not that surprising, at least from my end. I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the bye week, the best time to make a move like this, if there was ever a best time to make a move like this, get Tommy DeVito up to speed. They've had some success with him in historically, we saw him out there last year have a couple good goes at it. You were reading the ratio, touchdown interceptions. It wasn't too terrible earlier. And I just think that if you're Brian Daboll, you're putting out your best foot forward here with the installs, the offense that you roll out there with Tommy DeVito. We were talking about the management decision, what's going to happen with the GM, what's going to happen with the head coach. I think all you can do if you're Brian Daboll is roll out a good offensive game plan and make Tommy DeVito look the part. If that's the best that's the best interview process, is making a guy like Tommy DeVito look really good for this New York Giants team. And if they can do that, I think it solidifies the case to have Brian Daboll be part of the selection committee for the new quarterback in New York.
And Daniel Jones almost made this easy on them. This isn't like last year with the Russell Wilson injury guarantee where it was quite obvious he was still the best option in Denver, but they had to make a move. He may not even be the best option right now in New York. Like his performance, truthfully, was such that you could make the argument that they may win more games with Tommy DeVito. Heck, over his last 17 starts, DJ's won as many games as Tommy DeVito did last year.
Yeah.
So, like, there is a chance that this team gets a little bit of a shot in the arm. And even if they don't, well, then maybe you're in position to get your quarterback of the future.
Juice. So, Tommy DeVito's got juice. He's a culture fit, too. The tri-state area, what's not to love about this Italian kid? Come on.
All right, another team.
I hear you. I hear you. I just look at it. I look at it as they're in that position right now where the wins and losses for the remainder of the season are not as important as what the future of this organization looks like, right? And I agree with you. For Brian Daboll, it's about going out there. Maybe not. I don't think it's a wins and losses type of evaluation. It's just a production and coaching it up and having a clean operation and being competitive.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Another team that's getting whispers about a potential quarterback change, not from me, but whispers nonetheless.
Wow.
Atlanta Falcons. There are some saying with Michael Penix and how he looked on like the 3 dropbacks that he had, is there any chance with the way this season, if it continues with Kirk Cousins maybe struggling down the stretch here, that you would ever go to Michael Penix as a rookie? Or what do you think the plan should be with Michael Penix going forward?
I kind of like what their plan and approach has been so far, right? Of kind of letting him develop, giving him ample amount of time to develop on the practice field, and being committed to Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's 2 bad weeks for the Falcons, 2 disappointing losses. They're still in first place in the division, right? And to me, I don't see them making a decision like that, given that they have an opportunity to go to the playoffs, win this division, right? And unless it goes in free fall, unless it goes, and it would have to be, in my opinion, a couple more weeks, right? We're not talking about next week or being on the hot seat of what we're looking at. We're looking at multiple weeks where you lose a division lead because it's a very, very winnable division. And they're going to hold the tiebreakers over the Bucs with the 2 games that they beat. They beat them. And so I want to change the approach. I like the approach that they've had. They've been committed to developing him. They've been committed to Kirk Cousins. I would continue that route unless it goes into an absolute free fall.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is the known commodity. We went out and got this guy because that was the piece, that was the spark plug to your offense. And we've seen it at points in time this season where the offense looks fantastic. We've seen them stall as well. The unknown commodity is Michael Penix. I agree with Matt. You do not make this move unless we see this stretch 2 or 3 more weeks of this kind of sputtering. They got demolished by the Denver Broncos, but I still think Kirk Cousins gives you the best chance. You talked about leading the division, the tiebreaker against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Without Kirk Cousins, they don't win that game.
Yeah.
You get into a shootout, that's the guy that you're going to want. That's the guy that gives you the best chance. If I'm in that offensive line room, I'm saying I want Kirk Cousins. I know Michael Penix could be the guy down the road, but don't push the panic button now, and I don't think your guy's going to.
To me, it reeks of anyone asking for this, reeks of recency bias and FOMO. You are looking around the rest of this rookie quarterback class. You're seeing what Jaden Daniels is doing. You're seeing what Bo Nix is doing for those franchises, and you're saying, why don't we have that with Michael Penix? It's like, hey, easier said than done. A lot of rookie quarterbacks look more like the Bryce Youngs of the world than those guys do. So I do think that I'm pumping the brakes. I think that would be absolutely crazy. I'm not even considering a change like that until, like what you said, Matt, that this division's either out of hand or you're behind the 8 ball in it and Kirk's really going south. But at this point, I don't think it's anywhere close to that. I'd like to see any of the quarterbacks really do well against what that Broncos defense was throwing at the Falcons offense yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. Atlanta, listen, they're in the unique position, different from the other organizations with rookie quarterbacks, right? Where they've got a legitimate chance to go to the playoffs, and you've got the legitimate amount of time to develop a younger player. Mm-hmm. And you have to take advantage of both of those.
100%. To me, it feels like, if anything, like when the Chiefs had Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Smith was fine that year, but you're not going to unseat Alex Smith for Patrick Mahomes until then, maybe this offseason. If Penix really you think he's the guy, then by all means make that change, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.